welcome back to Old Fashioned Graces. My name is Caitlin. On this channel, we talk about all things homemaking, homesteading, and how to be a lady. Join us! Today is our seed haul for the year. I garden in a Zone 4A. Our frost dates are June 1st-ish to approximately September 1st-ish. So pretty short growing season. We like to make as much use of the summer as we can. So join me for our seed haul! Alright, so I'm going to attempt to figure out how to put in chapters to make this easier. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is our goals for our garden. Then I'll get into the actual seeds. And then at the end, I will talk about the plants that I'm planning on purchasing. So our goals for this garden this year are twofold. One, to grow a lot of the things that we know grows well, that our family consumes a lot, and that we can put up easily. So for us, that is mainly legumes. So green beans and peas, above shelling peas and sugar snap peas, and summer squash. That is the bulk of things that grow really, really well here. We also do a fair bit of radishes. And also potatoes. We do grow a lot of potatoes. They grow pretty well here, as long as I don't lose them in with the weeds. The next category of things that we are growing this year is we are attempting to start a farm store. So that is items that I think will sell well. So we have a couple of kind of unique items. I will do my best to include pictures off of the website for what these plants look like if they're not just a basic zucchini, because everyone kind of knows what a zucchini looks like. And in the description box below, there will be a code that gets you $5 off from True Leaf Market, which is where I have most of my seeds from. I have a few leftover seeds from a few different places. So let's get into what we have. So as you can see, I have this huge, well not huge, this big bin, which is where we keep our seeds. It usually lives in our basement when it's not gardening season. So the first thing is, when I tell you that we focus on growing green beans, I'm not kidding. This is 5 pounds of green bean seeds from True Leaf Market. This is the Blue Lake Bush 274 bean. I know the pole beans do produce more per plant. However, you have to trellis them. And for us, it's just not worth it. We grow these in ground. They grow really well. So we have 5 pounds of this. And we have another 5 pounds of green beans. I'm telling you, we are serious about our green beans. These are tender green bush beans. I've not tried this variety before. We did Blue Lake last year. There was one thing I was disappointed about with the Blue Lake beans. On the website, they claimed, and I had heard other places, that they all mature at the same time. You can just like pick the whole plant. They will all be, 80% ready, which I was very excited about because that meant one picking per row. That'd be great. That was not the case. However, we did really like the beans, so we are just going to treat them like a normal green bean and pick them through the season that they're producing about every other day and just enjoy them that way. Next, we have some peas. So this is 1 pound of Progress number 9 pea. So I believe we did this one last year. I also have 1 pound of Lincoln pea. These are seed peas, shelling peas. Let's see. And then I have some Thomas Laxton peas. Again, another pound. When I say we are serious about focusing on green beans and peas, I was not kidding. So the only company that I placed an order with for seeds this year is True Leaf Market. I discovered them 3 years ago now. And last year exclusively switched over to the seeds, except for a couple of things I couldn't find that I wanted. And I was thrilled with the prices. It has literally saved us hundreds of dollars. One of the things I love about them is that when you look at the seeds that you're wanting to order, you can scroll down to the bottom of the page and it because they have a huge variety of packages because they are for small gardeners all the way up to farmers. And so there's like a 4-gram package and an 8-ounce package, and a pound, and 5 pounds, and 10 pounds, and 25 pounds. You get the idea. But if you scroll down to the bottom, it says on almost all of them approximately how many seeds are in each size. So you might be looking at the zucchini and think, oh, I really like zucchini. I should get the 4-ounce package. only to find out that that has 2,000 seeds in it. And you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Maybe I'll go with the 4-gram package. So I really, really like that feature. I'm just pulling those numbers out of the air. But some of the seeds are a lot lighter than you think, so that is really helpful. Now, I did not sort these ahead of time, so these are just, as I'm pulling them out, what I found. We want to attempt to grow quinoa, so I actually got this last year. This is the organic cherry vanilla quinoa. We'll see if we get this planted. We have to be really careful to keep it very weeded. We grew quinoa 1 year before, but it got mixed in with our wild amaranth, so we weren't really able to harvest it. So I'm not sure if they'll get planted this year, but maybe. We have another one that is a maybe. It's a pearl hybrid grain millet. Again, something that we want to experiment with. I'm not sure if we'll get to it this year. We have sugar, pod peas. So these are non-chilling peas. You're just your sugar snap peas. This is Mammoth Melting Sugar Pod Pea Snow, 4 ounce. But as you can see, I mean, it's like as big as my face. It's still a good amount of pea seeds. Those will be mostly for selling in our farm store and for fresh eating. We also got some gourds for selling and decorating with. So these are the Crown of Thorns Schnott gourd. They're kind of cool. We have the Jarradale pumpkin. Definitely want to get into growing pumpkins. We are tossing around the idea of doing a pumpkin patch in a few years, so we're going to experiment with growing a few different types of pumpkins. We have the golden Helios radish. We love radishes, either as just a roasted vegetable or in salads. 2 years ago, they did really, really well here. They did not like the heat last year, so they went from doing really well to just bolting, and we got like 5, which really stinks. Thankfully, the seeds are pretty cheap. We have moonbeam summer squash. We love summer squash. I can just about live on sauteed summer squash and onion and garlic in the summer. So you'll see that we have a bunch of different varieties of that. I have Parisian carrots. I am getting somewhat successful at growing carrots in our raised beds, meaning that I am actually getting carrots. Alright, here's something you need to know about me. I'm not good at gardening. I am learning. I'm getting better. I don't have a green thumb. So I have to plant way more seeds than someone who is good at gardening to get a good harvest. Also, we are working on rehabilitating our soil. So when we moved in here 4 years ago now, our soil was completely terrible. Growing summer squash, like growing zucchini, you know the joke that you don't leave your windows down in the summer if you live out in the country because someone will stick zucchini in it of your vehicle. Yeah. I have planted a whole packet of zucchini seeds and gotten 6 zucchini from an entire summer. So we are working on it. So that's why you'll see some of the large amounts of seeds are because we feed 8 people, plus we have a lot of people over. And we try to grow as much of our own food as possible. And part of it is just, I know that I have to put more seed in the ground than the maybe average gardener to get the same result. So we have 1 ounce of carrot seeds, which if you know the size of carrot seeds, that is a huge amount. But I'm hoping to actually get enough to be able to freeze or can or do something with. And we eat a ton of carrots here. Then I have Vate's Blue Scotch Curled Kale, the organic seeds, because that's what I don't personally worry about whether the seeds are organic or not. To me, what's important is the non-GMO. But this one happens to be organic, another 1 ounce packet. There's a lot. For some reason, growing greens, which is supposed to be super easy, especially your hardier greens like kale and spinach, we have struggled with. Again, really, really terrible soil. It's very sandy, but we're working as much as we can on improving it. Now we have purple plum radish. Again, another 1 ounce package. Lots of radishes. I interplant radishes with our peas and green beans sometimes to just make use of space. 1 ounce of little finger carrot. We do grow some, or at least attempt to grow some winter squash. It can be a bit hard because like this is a 110 day winter squash, which is really pushing our season. But we try, and for a couple bucks in seeds, if it doesn't work out, the dead plants are fertilizer for our ground, is how I look at it. So this is a sweet dumpling winter squash, which is 110 day. We have large Italian leaf basil. So we're going to try growing that. My herb garden is doing okay. I have had very good success with chives. I have a ton of chives. My husband brought me home a 5-gallon bucket full of chive plants. Plus I have another spot of chives. And my sage plant is doing really well. It loves our really terrible soil. The planter that it's in is even worse than the rest of our garden soil, and it is thriving. And all I do is water occasionally, and that's my kind of plant. We have 8 grams of cherry bell radish. I have a mixed greens gourmet lettuce mixture, 2.5 grams to try. Again, we are going to try to grow some of our own greens. We'll see. Hopefully it's better than last year. This is 1 pound of Lincoln peas. So that's 2 pounds total of this variety. I grew it last year. I really liked it. Last year was the first year that we were able to actually like put up some of our own shelling peas, which was great. It's a lot of work, but the good news is you get a lot of shells and all of that to go back into compost for your garden. I have a Sunburst hybrid summer squash, 50 days to maturity, which still, by the time we are getting summer squash here in northern Michigan, it feels like summer is almost over, but they are the taste of summer. We also have a scallop jaune et vert, I'm sure I butchered that, summer squash, 55 days. Again, loving that summer squash. So this is a package from last year, if you can see all the dirt on it. So this is, we ran out of space in our raised beds. We are hoping to get more in this year. So this is Perfection Dark Seeded Pea. It was a 1 pound package, but there's probably like 3/4 of a pound in here. Hopefully, mostly seeds and not just dirt. So these will be the first ones that we plant out, obviously. Again, from last year, we have Champion Radish. So there was a 1 pound package. Planted out a ton. Only got a few because they bolted. But hopefully the weather will be different. Because last year, in February, we had no snow and 70-degree days, which in northern Michigan is ridiculous. So a lot of our plants were confused, and it was just a weird year for weather. This last fall, like in November, my lilacs bloomed for a second time because it was so warm, and they got confused and bloomed again. So I'm hoping they didn't die, but it was just a weird year for weather. One of my goals, this kind of goes against what I said about growing stuff that grows well, is I want to successfully grow a beet this year. I have successfully grown little beet plants, and then they have either died on their own accord, or an animal has gotten out and eaten them, or a pest has taken over and eaten them. So I have 4 ounces, which is a huge package. It's like nice and thick, of Beet Early Tall Top Wonder. I am going to get at least 1 beet, even if it's like this big, to harvest this year. I'm determined. Gotta have your goals, right? And then I have Black Beauty Summer Squash Zucchini. Again, a staple, 7-gram packet. Hopefully we will have enough summer squash this year to like enjoy and not have to beg some off other people. We have Cinderella pumpkins. I have higher hope for this than some of the other varieties because this is a 90 to 99 day pumpkin. Also called the Vogue pumpkin. And this is kind of what the Disney's Cinderella pumpkin was based off of. So we're going to try that, again, for eating and then also potentially for selling at our farm store. Let's see. Alright, now we are largely to, I have a few others to show you, but largely we are to things that are from previous years. 3 years ago now, I was given a ton of free seeds from various companies, and then A couple years ago, I was buying my seeds from Burpees, which I didn't have a problem with their seeds, but when I switched to True Leaf Market, I literally saved like $400 on seeds, so that was huge. So that's who I go with for almost everything, but True Leaf Market doesn't have a couple varieties that I sometimes go to other places like Burpees or some of the other seed companies for. So I got some flower seeds. Hopefully these will do well. I want to grow more and more flowers on our property. I think they're beautiful. I think they help bring the pollinators in. We are hoping to start bees here in a year or two. I got Colorado Blue Columbine, Veronica Blue Bouquet, and Silver Princess Shasta Daisy. So I got those. I love hollyhock. Once you get them going, and if your husband doesn't keep weed whacking them down thinking they're a weed, they just keep going. They reseed themselves every year. They can handle the crazy winters that we get here. They're just a really hardy, they're like a quintessential farmhouse flower, and they're actually medicinal, good for lung problems. So they're an all-around great plant in my opinion. I have a light pink, like blush colored one that I have been able to get to survive and do well, but I want some other colors. The super pale colors are not my favorite. I prefer the more bold ones. So I have a Queenie Purple Hollyhock, a Summer Carnival Mix of Hollyhock, and a Trader's Double Mixture Hollyhock. I'm actually going to give some of these seeds to my mom when I open them up, so that way she can plant some at her house, with the hopes that if one of them doesn't take off here, it takes off at my mom's, and vice versa, so we can get them going and share seeds back and forth. I've got a huge pile at my feet. Oh, and then we have a squash, early summer squash, early prolific straight neck too. A little more summer squash I found. And rosemary. Going to try to get that going. Supposed to be able to handle the cold, so we will see. We will see if it can handle the cold and the poor soil. And then cumin. We love cumin. We're going to try growing it. Alright, so now I'm going to kind of go through the miscellaneous seeds. Again, these are not in any order. I'm just digging them out of the bin. These are all older seeds, at least a year old, some of them up to 5 years old. So I have Detroit Dark Red Medium Top Beet Seed. That's Burpees. I have Heirloom Small Sugar Pumpkin Seeds. Wildflower Mixture. Oregano. White Spine Cucumber. Early Perfection Seeds. Pea Seed. Cilantro. Oregano. Let's see, these are Butterbush Winter Squash, Early Wonder Beets, a lettuce tape, Genevieve basil, thyme, cilantro, which I actually hate the flavor of. I'm one of those weird people that it tastes like soap. Zucchini, Genevieve's basil. I have short and sweet carrot, again, a couple years old. I'm going to plant these. Angelica, another herb that I'm hoping to get planted this year. Blue Enchantment flowers. Muncher cucumbers. You can tell I got a lot of these free cucumber seeds. Genevieve basil, again. More golden wax beans. A dark green zucchini. See, this is from last year. This is a Rainbow Swiss chard mix. So hopefully we will actually get this to grow and we can harvest them. That'd be kind of cool. Got parsley, more zinnias, another herb mix, catnip, more basil, more zinnias, more spearmint, more bunching onions, another zucchini, spearmint, onions, cucumber, zinnia. This is Jack B. Little pumpkin seeds. Again, trying out a few different pumpkin varieties, hoping to get a pumpkin patch growing on our farm for the general public in a year or two. We will see how that goes. Lots of plans, lots of dreams, very little time and money. So we will see what happens. More bunching onions and zinnias, some rosemary, parsley, let's see, dill. Do want to grow some dill for use in fermented carrot sticks and other pickle type things. French breakfast radish, very excited about that. That's actually new this year, I just missed it in the pile. Some Danvers 126 carrot seeds. Green beans, peas, green beans, yellow beans. There's a lot of repeats because I got these for free. More flowers. There's a Linaria fairy bouquet. They look very pretty. No idea if they'll grow. Don't have the best of luck. But my Rosa rugosa bush appears to be alive. So, hopefully that's true. German chamomile. We have something that I can't decide if it's chamomile that grows wild in our garden. It's this very similar looking flower. I'm really bad at identifying things out in the wild. So I need to have someone come over that is better at that kind of thing to tell me, because if so, that would be great. I could harvest a ton of it. It grows crazy. If not, I just have a bunch of pretty daisy-like flowers. King coral flowers. I got these last year, so they were below standard last year, so they're like below standard this year. But they are a small standard gourd mix. So I am going to, if we have space this year, I'm going to plant a bunch of these in hopes to get some gourds. I'm going to like overplant, like just like in a row, just like straight seeds, because they're so below standard. And we're going to try. What's the worst that happens? Nothing. Some more cucumbers, salad slicer, more green beans, some onion seeds. Again, I've had somewhat success with doing them actually direct sown from seed. Problem is they frequently get weeded out because they look like grass when they're coming up. More zinnias, more peas, more cucumbers. I have some lettuce tape that we are going to try. Again, this is free stuff from a few years ago. More lettuce tape, some radish tape, a mixed lettuce tape, more lettuce tape, a watermelon. This is more for my oldest. She loves watermelons and cantaloupes. They don't grow well here, but we try every year because I love her. And then we have this bag of bean seeds, which can't really see, but they are a zebra bean, which I have actually eaten. They're dried bean variety. I have eaten some. They're really good. They're an heirloom. My mom has some more, and she has 2 other heirloom bean seed varieties. So we are going to grow them. One of the things I like about beans is they only have a 10-foot pollination range. So that is all of the seeds that we have. Don't see myself getting any more seeds unless I find like maybe some flower seeds, if I find some locally that are just such a good deal that I can't refuse. Now, like I said, this year we are not starting our own seeds. It just didn't work, and I'll explain more in a future video why that did not work this year. So I will be buying some plants. As if you notice, there was no tomatoes in all those seeds, all those pounds and pounds of seeds, because they have to be started from seed in our area. So my mom is actually starting a bunch of stuff from seed, so if she has extra, I will get some from her. But also there is a wonderful pro-life supporting local family-owned nursery 15 minutes from us that has really good sales. So I will be getting for sure some tomato plants from them around the first week of June. We are getting a ton of strawberry plants from Indiana Berry this year because our strawberry patch kind of petered out. It's about done. We have raspberries already, but we're getting some black raspberries to start those going, which I'm very excited about. And hopefully some blueberry plants. I had started the order and then plans changed, so I have to try and see if the place we were getting them from still has them. In the state of Michigan, there's only a few places that you can get blueberry plants from because they have to be tested for certain diseases. So that makes it a little bit difficult. So We're going to be getting tomato plants, strawberry plants, a few raspberry plants, hopefully another fruit tree. We'll see. Hopefully some blueberries. We'll see on that. And probably some just flower plants, annual flower plants that already started, just for funsies because they're beautiful. So that is our plans for the garden this year. I will take you along when we are in a few weeks here starting our first things. So our dark leafy greens like the Swiss chard and the kale, and our peas, at least some of them. I'm not sure if I'll get all of them in the first, so we can start planting peas the first week of April here, assuming that the ground is no longer frozen and you can work it. So right now it looks like the weather's going to cooperate from that. We will see if that's actually the case, but that's kind of the goal, and I will take you along and show you that. Here at the end I will also put up a list of the cold weather varieties that you plant first. I know a lot of people are further south than me. Most people are further south than me. Will seem like a rather late video, and y'all are already planting and in your shorts and all that. We are still in our sweaters, and we lost most of our snow today, but we still have snow outside. And who knows? I think this weekend we're supposed to get another snowstorm. We could have a blizzard partway through April, and it would not be weird. So when you live in the frozen north, gardening is a bit more seasonal than in other parts of the country. But thank you for joining me for this seed haul. I will leave the code below, the link below, for the 5% off coupon to True Leaf Market. I have been thrilled with their products. I love them. They save me a bunch of money. Oh, the other thing is I will be buying a bunch of onion sets or bulbs. I haven't quite decided on that. If I get the bulbs, I'll get them from Burpees. They have really good prices on those. If I get sets, I will be getting them from Dixondale Farms. They have really good prices on sets. So, not sure what I'm going to do with that yet, but I will be getting some sort of onions to grow. Again, they've been hit and miss. They did really well last year, but then I just didn't have enough man hours to keep up on the garden, so I ended up with weeds taller than I am, and I'm 5'10", so those are some seriously tall weeds, and I lost whole rows of vegetables to weeds. And the potatoes and the onions and a partial row of green beans were the main casualties to the lack of weeding. So we are hoping that won't be the case this year. It sounds like my husband should be able to be on the farm a little bit more, Lord willing, to help with all the weeding and all that. Takes man hours, and I'm only one person. So, yeah. Thank you for joining me for this seed haul. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. I really appreciate your support and encouragement along this journey on YouTube as the videos hopefully get better and better with each time. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It really, really helps my channel. No cost to you, but it means a lot to me. Comment below your favorite place to buy seeds or your favorite thing that is direct sown. Yeah, I can't wait for gardening season to start. I hope that your gardens grow abundantly and you are blessed with more food than you know what to do with and can share it with others. God bless. Have a great day. Bye.